Hi everyone, I'm Barbara from Bavaria and this is Mrs. Faraway Stitches, my YouTube channel about cross-stitch. I'm so happy that you are joining me today on this wonderful 1st of May. It's a gorgeous sunny day here, we have blue skies, the sun is shining, we have about 25 degrees Celsius out. In the house it's a little bit colder, as you can see. And well, it just feels like summer is just around the corner. Before we dive into stitching, I want to welcome all those of you who are new today. I'm so glad you found my channel. And I want to say a huge thank you to all of you that are returning. I had so much fun reading all your comments and getting into all those conversations about stitching with you. And I'm so glad about your likes. That's just a wonderful community we are in. Your support really means a lot to me, and actually it motivates me to make more content, and it also motivates me to think more about my stitching, and that's a good thing, isn't it? Today it's time for my April wrap-up. To be honest, April was a very busy month for me, both professionally and personally. And I really didn't have a lot of time for stitching. But even if my productive days were few, I made the best out of them. I managed to touch 13 projects. And now let's have a look at the menu. For starters, we have 2 finishes and 4 new starts. Then we have my Whipco pieces and all the other whips I stitched on. I also thought I would like to show you my book of days. Many of you have one and so do I. And as I changed the format this year, I just thought I wanted to show it to you. At the end, I have a massive kit haul that, well, just happened. So grab a cup of tea or coffee, you're stitching if you want, and let's start with all the things I did this month. Finishes first. The first thing I finished in April was this one. Summer Refreshes by Summer House Stitch Works. It's a very popular piece and I stitched on it for quite a few years. I started it in summer 2022, I think. And I only stitched on it during the journeys to and fro our holiday destinations. So only a few days every year. We usually have 2 nights because we go to southern France or to Mallorca. And that's the only time in the year, except of Whipco or having fun in May, that I stitched on it. And I can't even show it to you because it's at the framer at the moment. So I'll pop a picture up there or up there, how it looked when I had finished stitching it. And I'll show it to you when I get it back. And I was really, really glad about having finished it. Firstly, because it took me a long time and it really was time to have it finished. And secondly, because it's part of my Having Fun in May board and I really wanted the slot for a new start. The second thing I finished was a start and a finish. It was part of my big haul I'll show you at the end of the video. And it's Minuet's Orchard Cottage from Bothy Threads. I really like those small pictures and they don't take very long. And this is, well, let's get a board. It's easier. So, and this is how it looks. Very, very sweet. It's stitched on, I think it's called Blue Whisper. It's an Ada, 16 count, and it's that vintage look that Zweigart has on some of their fabrics, light blue and white. So have another look. really like that, and when I get my things from the framer, I'll take this to him because it's so sweet. Wonderful spring motif. Next up, new starts. I had 4 of them in April. One I have already showed to you because it was a start and a finish. That was the Orchard Cottage. And then I started 2 pieces at Easter. One at the Saturday before Easter and the other on Easter Sunday. The first one I started was a very, very sweet one from Puntini, from her Spring Animals trio. Oops. So here you go, and I started the sweet little bunny. And of course I didn't have a lot of time in April, so I didn't come very far. This is where I came to. Just an ear. But it will get fine. Of course I thought I would finish it till today, but of course I didn't. But eventually. These are really nice to stitch. I stitched the fox in winter and now I've got the bunny, and I'm already looking forward to stitch more of her wonderful motifs. She has wonderful tropical birds and I'm looking forward to them. Next one, oops. On Easter Sunday I started The Lord is My Shepherd by Primrose Cottage. I really, really enjoy stitching Primrose Cottage, that's the name. And I showed you a companion piece in an earlier video. I stitched Prince of Peace for Christmas. And now it's The Lord is My Shepherd. And that's where I am. I didn't use any of the called for flosses. There were color and cotton flosses called for, and I used a combination of just DMC and Classic Color Works. I have 2 greens, Jolly Holly and Desert Mesquite or Desert Mesquite. You will tell me in the comments. And for the red, I used Hollyberry. Yes, that's it. Exactly the same colors I also used on Prince of Peace. So it's a real companion piece. I really like stitching that. It's stitched on a 32 count Lugana in the colorway Platinum. And the last new start was this one. It's Queen and Corgis, and it's by Ludicrous Threads, which is a shop on Etsy. And I thought I'd like to have a commemoration start on the 100th birthday of the late Queen. And I thought this was fun. Wonderful colors. Just look at them. Aren't they sweet? That's spring, actually. And these are a lot of colors she really wore. She had very colorful ensembles, and I think that's really nice. And this is where I am, just a little start, this way around. Just a little start, but it's not a big piece, and I think, well, I should be able to finish this in a decent time. Well, what's a decent time with my stitching? You know that already. Okay, so that were my new starts, 4 of them, 1 a start and a finish. And now let's have a look at my WIPGO pieces. For those of you who are not familiar with WIPGO, that's a kind of stitching game. Jessie Marie does stuff, sets up and you have a board with 25 slots and you assign a stitching goal to every slot. And once a month, Jessie Marie draws numbers, and because the board is 5 times 5, you have 25 slots. But of course, if you divide the year with 2, you get only 24. So the month where the 13 is called, you have 3 numbers. And that was April. So I had 3 Whipco pieces in April. The first one I stitched on, you have seen it multiple times by now, is John Elliott, and it's called Celtic Wheel. It's this one, a wonderfully intricate Celtic border, and the feast days of the Celtic year with symbols, with flowers and with bushes and whatever you can think of, wonderful nature pictures. And I didn't come very far this month, of course. I've started it some time ago, and everything I've done this month, now you can see it, where I finished the violets and I did a little bit of backstitch on it. And a little bit at this border. I think the golden things over there. That was my first one. The second one is Love Potion number 9. That's this here. And I did quite a lot of there, and it doesn't look much, but it's a lot of stitching. It's really big, and I worked at that round part of the bottle quite a bit. And you will see that again on my Having Fun in May board. That will come back this month. And the third one, which was of course the number 13, and the number 13 is always any Halloween piece I want to stitch on. Just like the number 24 and 25 are always Christmas pieces. And I decided to work on the Victorian Witch by the Little Stitcher. I really think that's a truly elegant piece, and I really want to have it on my wall. And I told you about that I started it on 40 count and couldn't see it, so I had to restart it. And that's how far I've come. I'm just thinking which way it goes. I think really that's right. Yes, that's the way. That's how is it called, a bustle of the skirt. And if I look at this, I might have made a massive, no, it's just wrong. It's that way. I just thought I made a massive mistake, but I just had it the wrong way. That's the way. Because if you look at this, there should have been a very light color over there, but indeed, that's the other part of the piece. So that's the front of her bodice. No, here, that's the front of her bodice. It's really fun to stitch. There are only a few colors. It's kind of sepia piece, and it stitches really quickly if you see the holes in your fabric. And these were my 3 Whipco pieces. The first normal whip I stitched on was a really beautiful one. And I'm very happy that I share this with my really good friend. It's Stitch O'Clock Diana. We are stitching buddies on this. And it's Nora Corbett, Miss Leopard. A very pretty piece. A little bit unusual with the snow leopard. Wonderful colors. Blues and black, of course, and white. Wonderful colors. There is a little bit of Kreinig and a little bit of beads in it. One color of beads, just black beads. Beads, you have them in the frock of the fairy, and you have them in the leopard. And there is a little bit of purple Krynic, and I'm not quite sure if I will use the Call for Krynic or if I will use treasure braid, because I really prefer stitching with treasure braid, and they are really similar, but you really can't see them very well. Let's try to have, yeah, that's much better. The Krynic is a little bit more on the violet side. The treasure braid is a little bit more on the, well, purple side. So I'm not quite sure. I will have a look when I'm at the, I think it's only in the wings of the fairy. So let's see. I have both options here. And of course you want to see how it looks. That's where I am. That's part of the dress, and that's a little bit, a very, very little bit of the leopard. And if you want to see her pretty face, you have to look at It's Stitch O'Clock, because she began with the face and the upper part, and I began in the middle, like I always do. And it's a really fun stitch because there is a lot of block stitching. So you don't have to change your colors all the time. That is relaxing and goes quickly. The next one is the monthly sampler April from A Waxing Moon Designs. There are, of course, 12 of them. This is my first one. They really only use, they only use fancy flosses. And if you see 2 DMC, it is because I couldn't get the fancy flosses. And everything else is fancy flosses. Nice spring colors. I like this purple. That's really pastel purple, really nice. And I'm here. I have to get my board. I'm here. There is a thread hanging. Right. Here we go. Here we go. There is a mistake somewhere, and I just can't find it out. We will see how bad it is and if I can fudge it. And it's somewhere here in the border, because everything here is right, everything here is right, and this just doesn't match. But I counted numerous times, and I really can't find it. Oh well. Eventually, it will clear up. And the last piece I stitched on is Blooming Bunny by Nat Nolo Cross Stitch Patterns. That's the name. It's so sweet. And this is where I am. Last time you saw it, there was just a little bit of this flower and a little bit of this flower, and everything else I've stitched in this month. This was kind of a focus piece. I stitched on it when we were on holiday in the Netherlands with my son, and this was the piece I had taken with me. Really nice. Very soft colors. It's just a white Ada. I think that is 18 count. Could be 16, but I think it's 18 count. Really, really nice. Love that. And if you count it, I just noticed, you will have noticed that these were 11 pieces and not 13. 13 pieces was a blatant lie. I just miscounted. So before I show you my really massive kit haul of this month, I wanted to show you my book of days. Like many of you, I started with the book of days that you can buy. This is the 2024 book of days, and I liked the way it was organized. And of course, I put some stickers in it. I think that's what you are supposed to do. But I really was a little bit disappointed. Probably I just got a not so good book because look at this, and this is since the second month I used it. And also I thought I would have liked a few more pages for notes and WipGo, so I had to put everything in extra, and I didn't like that much. So after 1 year and after having it a little bit difficult to get it, because I have to get it from the US, which means I have to pay some toll and taxes, which makes it much more expensive than it is. I decided not to get the next one. And I bought me a calendar, which I really liked. And I had it like this. But on the other hand, well, there was a lot of room. I needed a lot of stickers, and that wasn't perfect too. And then I saw an idea, and I really can't remember which stitcher it was. If you see this, just give me a nod, give me a heads up, and I will note your name in my next video. And she had such a thing, a 5-year diary, which is exactly laid out like a book of days. Look here. It's 5 years, so you don't have to change every year. And there are enough pages for notes, and they are also between the years. So you can put in the WipGo board every year and have some notes every year. And this is how it looks when it's finished. And I usually have my entries color-coded. Red is for new starts. Green, like summer refreshes, is for finishes. Orange is for WipGo, and everything else is usually just black. And if I don't stitch at any day, I put a sticker in it. So I see there is no name, there is no title, there is just a sticker. And you see, actually in April there are a lot of stickers. And there is the possibility to have your projects written down at the side. And in the front I've got my WipGo board, which is finished for April. And in the back I've extensive list of WIPs. There are several pages, and if I finish something, I just mark it. So that works fine till now, and I have a lot of fun looking through it and having my entry every evening after I've stopped stitching. And that's some kind of a really relaxing ritual for me. Well, that was everything stitching related except of my haul. In April, 2 things happened simultaneously. The first one was that one of my favorite shops in Germany, it's an online shop, it's called Marussia, had a sale. and you got a lot of things 20% off. And I took some things I had on my list and decided to have them as an Easter present for myself. The first one you have already seen because I've stitched it and finished it was the Orchard Cottage. You will see all of them are bothy threads. They were on sale. And I had a second one of them, a little bit older one. You can see it because it's the plastic wrapper and not the new paper wrapper. It's another of these minuets and it's called Brookside. They are not very expensive and they are quick to stitch. I think I will have more of them. And then I had seen a wonderful piece at a video from Magnolia Nana, which I really recommend following. Isn't that sweet with a bee and that little birdie? And a piece that sat on my list, on my wish list for a long time, was a country estate country church. There's a little bit of glare. This is so typically English that I just had to have it. You immediately hear the choir sing, you hear the church bell ring, so this will be a Christmas stitch for this year. I'm thinking about starting it in Christmas in July. And then I had a few Hannah Dale pieces that I really think are very sweet. First one, Poppy Field. A little fox. I'm always a sucker for foxes. And the next one is also a little fox. And this one, he has a little friend with him. It's called the Woodland Glade. All of them are Ada, and most of them have those little splashes in it. Oops. There you go. That's a pretty picture. And the last one was Lakeside Farm, Countryside Lakeside Farm from Rose Swalwell. Just a little highland scene, autumn scene. You can see it at the mountains in the back. Pretty. And then I found out that on another website where I sometimes buy stuff, that's Cross Stitch Corner. They had a final sale for Anchor and Maya kits. I love them a lot. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that Anchor is bought by DMC, and it seems that those kits go out of business. And I'm not quite sure if they come back as DMC kits, but I thought I would have some of those kits, which were really a good price because it was a final sale. And the first one I bought was this one. It's called Dutch Tulip Landscape. It's from the Landscape series. There are several of them. And I have also, from earlier times, a Highland scene and a Southern France scene. And I think there is an Alp scene. Not quite sure how many there are in this series, but look, isn't that pretty? And just at the moment, because my son lives in the Netherlands, I like to stitch Dutch motifs. And then I got two really, really pretty and big Maya pieces. for less than half the price, the usual price. This one, isn't that just great? It's called, what's it called? Geishas, just geishas. How can I reduce that glare? It's a big one and it's really intricate. I think it's full coverage. Might be, yeah, I think it's full coverage. Wonderful colors. And the next one is rather untypical for me, but I really just looked at it and I thought, let's try it. And this is this one. It's a wildlife scene, an African wildlife scene with the elephants and the giraffes. And it's called African Sunset. And of course you can see the sunset in the back. African Sunset. And you can see it's rectangular. It's bigger than what you see on the big picture. It's not a square. Yeah, and then just because it was really cheap, I just threw in a few fairies. I know that flower fairies are out of fashion for a long time now, but I still have some in my flower pots sitting. You could buy them to put them into your flower pots. And DMC had a series of flower fairies that you could buy, or often you found them in World of Cross Stitch or Cross Stitcher. And I saw this and it was about 15 euros, and there are two of them, and I thought, why not? So that was my big haul. So we are at the end of this video already. It was a little bit shorter than usual because firstly we had a long video only 14 days ago when I showed you my having fun in May pieces, and then secondly, if everything works out, we will meet again next week at the weekend when I show you my weekly Having Fun in May video, which means I will stitch on a different project every day in May, and I'll show them to you every week. So thank you for spending time with me. It was wonderful to sit with you at my table and show you all of my stitching. If you have any questions, if you want to discuss anything, if I have forgotten anything, just tell me in the comments. And if you want to do me a real big favor, like and subscribe. That's always the ultimate fun thing for any Flosstuber, I think, if they see that other people like what they do. Till then, it's just to tell you, take care, stitch on, and all the best from me from Bavaria. Bye bye!